Nmap scanning, and we'll also see some other tools as well, which will provide some, other type of information for us. Before going into that, did anyone go through the tools that we saw in the last lecture? The Google
No, sir.
Docs or the other tools that we saw,
Sir,
Netcraft.
I have some knowledge of Nmap and all that, but I didn't go through last week.
Okay. So whatever we are, going through in the lectures. So over the weekday, just try to run through the same tools and do your own research R&D. Maybe you will find some more insights. You'll find some more details. So over the weekdays before our next lecture, try to run the tools or try to uh, get some more hands-on on those tools. Set up a lab as it's also like install a Kali Linux VM and install a Windows VM as well, and try to perform all the you know scanning and whatever things we are going through. uh, I mean, we also had some online tools as well, right? So Netcraft was there and archive.org. So as a practice, just go through them. So coming to the scanning, so first thing, we'll understand what is exactly scanning. So uh, scanning the network is basically discovering systems on the network, which can be host or switches, servers, firewalls, LLBs, whatever they are. So we just first initially discover what are the devices that are present into the network, and what are the ports that are opened on those servers, or on those servers, switches, whatever, what are the devices that are present over there. So our main objective over there is to see what kind of ports are open and what kind of services or what kind of devices are present over there. So as I told you, right, in the last lecture, there are two types of scanning. One is active, one is passive. So active will be the one where you are directly interacting. So usually when you are coming to scanning, mostly it is active. But again, there are two parts in that. One is when you're inside the network, and one is you're outside the network. The more you're inside the network, obviously you will get the more information. Fine. And there are basically three objectives, which are scanning for live devices, OS, IPs that are in use. As I said, ports which are open or which are closed, and searching for vulnerabilities. So when we say that, which ports are closed or which ports are open, so basically it gives an idea uh, that the attacker can see what kind of uh, uh, exploitation he can perform. So let's say he sees that, for an external network, I mean the external traffic, they have allowed RDP port. So if they have allowed RDP port, it is basically giving a loophole for them. So such kind of ports, or other than that, there are also other ports like which are not non-standard ports. So this kind of things is what the attacker is looking for. Any non-standard port which is vulnerable to any of the other, vulnerability, or where he can build his tool to exploit that port. That is what he's basically looking for. Okay. So, and you must be aware of TCP and UDP, connectionless and connection oriented. So UDP is connectionless, where packets are sent without creating a connection, which comes as DNS lookups, DHCP, TFTP, etc. So I guess you must be aware of uh, those protocols. So last time we saw the TCP three-way handshake, in which the client first sends the request, and server sends acknowledgement, and proper connection is established. which is why it is called as connection oriented. And it it ensures that whatever the data is being transferred is being delivered. So wherever you want, the assurance that the traffic that is being sent is being received by the recipient, that time TCP is used. However, for when there is a large amount of traffic, and the priority is just the traffic being sent at that time, UDP is more preferred, because it will just keep sending the traffic without any delay, and without any confirmation. So it basically kind of helps to regulate the traffic, and if there is a large amount of traffic that is being sent, that time UDP packets are used. So what are the methodologies? So first is check for live system. You must be aware of ping command that is used to check if you are able to reach the end server. So these are actually commands that are used for purpose which will help to establish connectivity. However, attacker can make use of this for its own benefit. He will send the ping commands, and check if any server, or any device that he has identified is reachable or not, if it is up or not, is it live or not. Then he'll check for the open ports. Once the live host IPs, scan them for listening ports. Then scan beyond IDS. So if needed, use methods to scan beyond the detection system, evade IDS using proxy, spoofing, fragmented packets, and so on. So what are these terminologies are there? I think some of that you must have heard on of. So proxy is something that you must have heard of, and spoofing is also something you must have somewhere heard, or you must be aware of. However, we'll get into those details as well. IDS is intrusion detection system. So these are the tools that are placed into the organization to avoid such kind of attacks and such kind of methodologies. Then next is perform banner grabbing. Banner grabbing is nothing but getting information of the OS. So it is also known as OS fingerprinting. So this is basically identifying what kind of OS is running, and what kind of version of OS that is running on the particular system, server, whatever. This is not only limited to our Windows, Linux, or anything, but it is also helpful for identifying OS uh, uh, on the different types of devices, like a firewall, or LLB, or whatever. So they also have their own OS, and sometimes this type of banner grabbing will help us to identify what kind of OS they are running on. And if you come across that they are running some old OS or something like that, you can probably find out the vulnerability on that. So what lot of times the OS that is running on any firewall is found out to be vulnerable, and which is published. And this kind of helps the attacker to see if it is not patched, then they'll immediately exploit it. So, yeah, this is also one of the methodology. So, scanning for vulnerabilities. So, there are tools which help you to identify vulnerabilities on the systems, and there are basically lot tools which we'll see in the coming lectures, which will scan the network. They will scan the I mean, what are the devices that are present, and provide you with the vulnerabilities that are present. So then you can draw network diagrams, show logical and physical pathways into network that we already saw. Uh, I mean, we already explained you that what is the importance of having network diagrams. So network architecture is basically one of the important aspect in the network security. I had already told you regarding this. So if your net there is a loop in their network architecture, so let's say if your firewall is placed, ideally it should be placed at the front end of the network, kind of first line of defense. But if it is placed behind, some other devices, and you know the other devices which are placed above firewall, and they have some other accesses to the servers or something like that, it basically then uh, provides an pathway for the attacker. So let's say if there is a load balancer that is placed before firewall, so load balancer will obviously balance the load of the servers, which will kind of provide access for the attacker. And uh, it will also, because the firewall is placed later on, all the traffic will come onto the load balancer. So because of which this will make your network kind of a vulnerable, and that can be exploited. So whenever you are having the network architecture, it is very important that you know uh, it is I mean, the devices that are placed are being used fully to their potential, first thing. And there are no loopholes in that. Any loopholes will basically provide a path for the attacker. Same goes for the attacker. So if he is able to find out the network architecture, he'll probably it will probably help him to find any, basically a loophole or something like that, and get into the network part. Then use of proxies, as I said, you must have heard about proxies. So proxies are basically something that will help you to you know add as a cover up for you, or basically to hide your identity. We'll see the details of the proxies in the coming slides. So you'll get the idea. And then there is pen test report. So usually the attacker will, document everything that you will find. Same goes for the, penetration tester or VAPT team. They'll document whatever loopholes they are able to find so that they can patch them. So scanning is something, that is not only done by the attacker, but also as a part of internal red team, who will, perform this activities, just to understand what is, uh, what are loopholes that are present in the network. So uh, before the attacker finds out, they themselves can identify them and basically patch them. Then comes identifying net targets. So the easiest way to scan for live systems are is through ICMP. So ping is nothing but your ICMP packets that are being sent. So the best way is to find out if they are running or down. Just a ping command will help you in that. Uh, Obviously, there has some, shortcomings, and sometimes they get blocked on the host that are actually live. So you may not get the whole idea, but the easiest way to, initially find out is to run the scan. Then there are message types and returns. So this we will also understand, in the coming slides. But just to give you overview. So whenever we say that, we'll perform scanning, which will help you to identify uh, what kind of ports are open or which devices are running, something like that. So it all depends on your flags that are sent and what kind of messages and payloads that you are receiving. So let's say a payload of an ICMP message can be anything. The RFC can never be said what it is supposed to be. So which allows us to covert channels. Covert channels is basically a hidden path for the attacker. Then comes your ping sweep. So ping sweep is basically having automated, ping that is enabled for multiple IPs. So probably we can provide a range of that, and they'll just or they'll just scan the network and provide you with the outputs for that. So there are scripts that you can basically create or run uh, with the scripting language like Bash script or PowerShell, or even there are tools like Advanced IP Scanner, Angry IP Scanner, Nmap, etc. So yeah, and there is ICMP echo scanning. So again, the same thing, ping. So it sends an echo request to the network IP addresses. And ICMP return of type 3 with the code of 13 indicates a poorly configured firewall. So when you are doing the IP, ICMP echo scanning, uh, it will return with some code, and if it returns with a code of type 3 with the code of 13, it indicates that the firewall is present but it is poorly configured. The policies and everything are missing on that. One of the method of doing ping scanning tool is nmap with the uh, attributes of SN. So we'll see that again. We'll perform the same in the same method where we'll have this Linux VM onto the uh, Windows server. SN. IP address is correct. So it is just one system. So it has given short result. So it has shown that host is up, has some time span of latency, and it is showing that all 1,000 scan ports on this system are in ignored state. Uh, so we'll see regarding those commands as well. Currently, what the main target that we had was, to check if the host is up or not, which this nmap has already given. Okay. We'll also see the other tools, Angry IP Scanner and Advanced IP Scanner, but all these are the same tools. I mean, even if you run the one tool, you will get the idea of the complete other tools as well. So how does this port discovery basically work? So what are the basic concept? So what the attacker will do, it will just send out probably to check, uh, check the if the port is open or not. So let's say if we send sync packet, okay, and the server then sends out sync plus ACK. So this is very obvious that you come to know that the server is up and running, and it is reverting back. So that port is also open. The attacker will then just send RST packet, and it will close the connection. But the motive of the attacker is completed. He is able to find out that the uh, what we can say, the port is open, and the motive is completed. But how to find out if the port is closed? It's simple. Whenever the attacker will send this sync packet, it will directly, if the port is closed, an RST packet will be sent. So whenever the RST is sent, it indicates your port is closed. because if that is the what we can say uh, a by default mechanism. So if the port is closed, it will directly reset the connection. So in this way, the attacker knows how to identify which port is open and which port is closed. There are two types of firewalls basically. One is stateful firewall and another is stateless firewall. So stateful firewall is the one which will keep records of all the IP maps with the host name. So a stateless firewall doesn't maintain that, but a stateful firewall will do that, and it basically helps to identify the you know uh, authenticity of the packet that it is coming from. So in this scanning part, what it will do is the attacker will send an ICE acknowledge segment or packet on the first interaction, and if the stateful firewall is present, it will get no response. But if the firewall is not there, it will receive an RST. So, because the firewall will directly block, okay, such kind of request, so you won't get any response. But if the stateful firewall is not present and you are directly sending the packet to the target host, then it will, as I said, the by default mechanism, it will directly send out the RST packet. So again, this is also helpful for an attacker to identify, if the stateful firewall is present or not present. So let's get introduced to Nmap. We have already seen couple of commands in the last lecture and today's lecture as well. But just to understand, because this is one of the highly used tool. Whenever you're working in an organization, especially as a VAPT. And second thing is, as a part of when you're giving your interviews. Uh, this tool will be specifically, will be asked, and the details about it will be asked. Will request you to, just go through this tool, have some hands-on, perform different types of scanning on them, and understand what the different, attributes and different arguments that you are passing mean. So this will help you to, understand and provide, a depth information about this. So it is a short form for Network Mapper, which is a free and open source utility for network discovery and security auditing. Again, it is also part of auditing as well. So whenever you are working, even if you're working as a security auditor, probably they'll ask you for the Nmap, Nmap results and something like that. So even that part, it is, it is very helpful for you to understand them. Many systems and network administrators also find it useful for tasks such as network inventory, managing service upgrade schedules, and monitoring host or service uptime. So this is not only used for the security purpose, but some system admins and network admins will also use it to identify for having it as a part of network inventory. So whenever you're working in an organization, it is important for you to have a bifurcation and have a detailed what we can say inventory of all the devices. So sometimes it may happen that they are not aware which devices are introduced, or currently how many devices are running into the network if the organization is big, and you may not have the whole inventory. So for that reason, they'll just perform the Nmap scanning, which will help them to see what kind of devices are already present over there, and what is the host uptime from when they are up. Is there any restart that is done on them? And if they are, what we can say, not unpatched or something like that. So that is how, even network admin and system admin will make use of this tool. So this Nmap will basically use raw IP packets in a novel ways to determine with what hosts are available on the network, what services are running on these servers, which can be applications, or what is the application name and version that are those hosts are running, what OS they are running on, and what version, and what kind of packet filtering or firewalls are in use, and doesn't other thousands of characteristics. So that's why I'm saying that just try to uh, get a lab for it, and try to try try different types of commands, nmap commands, which will help you to identify what kind of information we can extract. So, coming to these types of scanning, so first is still scanning. So last in the last lecture we saw, right, the TCP three-way handshake. So you will send your sync packet, and then you will receive your sync plus ACK packet, and then you will send ACK packet, and the connection will be established, which is also helpful for identifying if the host of the port is allowed or not, the host is live or not. So that type of scanning is also there. However, this is another scanning, which is a half open scan, or still scan. So initial there is no difference. You will just send a sync packet, then you will receive sync plus ACK packet, and uh, but in the last part, instead of whenever the client sends acknowledge packet to establish connection, it will send an RST packet, because of which the whole connection is not established. And the reason that the reason behind this is basically the identity of the attacker may get hidden, because a connection is not completely established, so you won't have the information about that. So whenever the target wants to hide himself, or not get fully exposed, that time it will use the stealth scanning. So since that is the reason it is mentioned as its attribute as SS. Now let's try to do that as well. So again we have got some ports which are open, and what are the services running on them. So 139, 135, 443, 445 are the default ports, but there are also other ports like 902, which is open, and there is some 912 for Apex, and there is one which is open for BitTorrent tracker as well. So this is something which if attacker, if someone who is attacker, he may try to exploit this. So yeah, probably for different scannings we'll get all the same different results. However, uh, just for the understanding of this, we'll perform these types of all the commands. There is full connect, which is your complete three-way handshake. So in this, you know, uh, the complete what we can say three-way handshake will be done Probably the attacker will get more insights or more information because he is establishing the connection completely. However, in this uh, what we can say, uh, this is kind of alarming for the recipient that someone may be doing the scan, and it is also as a part of attacker, it will be easy for me to get detected for this. However, it will be the most reliable one. He will get the complete results, what is present and what is not. If some of the information is left out in the previous kind of other types of scanning, this won't be missed. He will get the complete information for this. So you know uh, if the attacker is not concerned about getting detected, and he just wants the complete information, then he'll perform this type of scanning. And just remember, for every scan, if the port is closed, he will receive an RST packet. Okay. If the port is open, it will receive an acknowledge packet. Sync plus acknowledge, otherwise it will just receive RST. So for this type of scanning, whatever the result we have received, right, for this port, for all this, it is sending the uh, uh, sync plus ACK. So that is why he is confirming that we have received uh, this type of packets, and flags are set, these flags are set, and because of which we can confirm that this port are open. So if you want to perform the full connect scan, this will be the command. Let's see if we can see any different result. So the result is same as I said, probably we'll get the same result for uh, all the uh, kind of uh, scanning that we'll perform. But we just want to get an idea if there are any different results. The reason that we are getting the same result is that I'm just having this one host, and that is also my base host. If you are working in an what we can say, uh, 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 organization, or if you are having some lab setup where you have multiple systems and devices that are there, pretty sure you will get different types of result. But for now, we are just performing as a part of uh, what we can say, practice, and to get the understanding. Then comes the other types of scanning, which are uh, null null scan, finish scan, and xmas scan. So in this, different types of flags are set whenever we are connecting with the host, or with the target. The packets that will be sent will be set with this particular flags. Obviously, again, in this in so a slight difference will be, if the end, what we can say, the end system's port is open, you will not receive any response. But if it is closed, it will give RST ACK. So contradictory to this, so if the port is open, you will not get any response. See, over here you will get some response, but in those type of scanning, you will not get any response. But if it is in the port is closed, it will directly send RST plus ACK. Okay, it will send a packet with the flag set as for RST as well as for acknowledge. Then these are the commands for null scan, fin scan, and the xmas scan. So first we'll see the null scan and fin scan. Then I'll tell you about the Xmas scan. So since the name detonates the null scan, it will have N. So as a part of interview, it is easy to remember it. So probably you may be asked what type of different scans you have performed or what different scans you're aware about. What does this particular S scan means, SS means, ST means, SN means. So based on the names, it is very easy to keep in mind. It has just provided, me with the uh, uptime of this, and it has scanned all the ports which are in ignostate. What are the same result that we have received uh, for the initial one of ping scan. Let's see if finish gives us some different result or not. I guess the same result. Yeah. Okay, now the next type is Xmas scan. So in this, it will set the finish flag, push flag, and urgent flag. So because of this, the you know kind of more stealth scanning, because random flags are set. The responses will be same as the previous scans that we saw, and basically this won't work for Windows machine. So we'll just try this, but as they said, it won't work for the Windows machine. It will work for the other devices. So the more devices that you have, it will provide you with the more other information. But again, we just have this one system. So uh, if you are able to get any lab, or something like that, then you can try it. Otherwise, probably if you get into any public network, even that sometimes helps to get gather information. Obviously this is not something recommended, but if you are willing to just as a for the sake of study, probably in some public network, if you go which is open for all, and if you try to do this scanning, you will probably what we can say, uh, get valuable information from all this. So that is one of the best methods for the getting the complete insights. And even the attacker sometimes will target these open public systems or the open public Wi-Fi's, where a lot of people are directly connected, and the traffic is also kind of open to all. So yeah, over there also you'll get lot of such information, and you will get lot of results. uh, So spoofing is something which I told you, right? So spoofing is where you can hide your identity. Uh, Sorry, got disconnected. Yeah. So as I was saying, spoofing is where the attacker will hide his identity and pretend to be someone else. So what does this mean is probably whatever his IP is, he will spoof his IP and pretend that he's coming from a different machine, and he will perform the scanning. So how does this work is currently, what is the IP over here? 174.130. So this, the command would be SD, I think, hyphen pnd. Let's see if I'm correct. Yeah. So this is a decoy. So that is why hyphen D is there. Then you can just mention your spoofed IP. And the target. So now what are the scanning that is being performed, that is performed with the IP address of once I missed out 68. Okay, fine, whatever it is. So it will be with this mentioned IP that we have given over here. See if it gives some result. A lot of time. Okay. It will take some time, I guess. Let's see. Till then, we'll move ahead. Uh, IP fragmentation is a concept where the attacker will break down these IPs, sorry, packets. It will send what we can say. So instead of sending one complete packet, it will break down these IPs, because of which it is again difficult for the recipient to track, or uh, basically cache the someone is there. Guys, please allow, someone is waiting in the lobby. So as I was saying, so for IP fragmentation, the attacker will break down the packets into multiple packets, which will basically be difficult for the uh, recipient, or for the organization to uh, kind of catch this attack that is happening, or catch this scanning that is happening, because since this IP pack, the fragmentation packets are being sent, it will have different, what we can say, different PIDs, and because of which it will be difficult for the policies to consider this as a complete one packet. So whenever you want to again have this, you want to hide your identity, you can basically use IP fragmentation. So it is used to scan tiny fragment packets, and this is the command for that. Let's see if this has completed or not. Otherwise, we'll run different one. I guess it's just F packet IP. Sorry. Okay. This is also taking a lot of time. So basically, this is performing the whole scanning. So you can see uh, it is doing the sync, stealth scan. Okay, I guess this will also do the same thing. Anyway, I mean, you must have understood the working of it and the main purpose of doing this. Then there is UDP scan. So all the previous scan that we saw are all done on the TCP protocol. However, as we know, with the current emerging applications and the devices and everything, now most of the scanning is done on the. I mean, most of the services are running on the UDP, for which you will need to do the, or perform the UDP scan. So there is a different command for that. You can probably check what UDP ports are open, uh, and you can also mention what particular services are running, and you want to check any particular port that is open over there. So all these previous scans, they were all for the TCP, but specifically for UDP, these are the all commands. So just a simple SU will provide all the UDP services that are running. But if you want to see for any particular port, you just need to mention -P, then the U stands for UDP, colon the port number. So if your target, you're looking for the 53 port UDP, 123 UDP port, and then the target IP. So you can just mention this kind of command for that. So let's see if it is where it is taking a lot of time. Can some new hyphen U, I guess. Yeah, SU. Let's wait for 5 minutes. They should, I guess, provide fast result. Shouldn't take that much of time. See, so this hasn't taken much of a time. So there is one port which open, that is 4500. Oh, that is also in closed state. Okay. So guess there are no open ports, but we'll still see if these particular ports are open for DNS or NTP. Okay, 153 is sorry, 53 is open. 123 is also open. So yeah, he has given, when we specify the particular ports, it is showing the state, if it is filter, not filter, and what is the domain. Sorry, what is the services that are running. So yeah, basically, if you're looking for any UDP port or something like that, you can probably find out easily using this particular command. Then comes your OS detection. So you can mention nmap, target IP, and -o. So it has already given warning that it cannot be it may be not unreliable for at least one port and one close port. So it has detected, yeah. So obviously this is not accurate information that is provided. But whatever the guesses that he has written is there should be XP Service Pack or Windows 7 or Windows Server 2012. Sorry, 2012, 93% is the percentage. Then VMware is running, so that he has got correct one. And the other, so no exact OS matches for the host. Probably may this is because of the Microsoft Defender or something like that, which is not providing it correct results. But again, if if your server is not hardened or something like that, probably you may get the result. Okay, so coming to proxies, so proxy, as I told you, right, these are used for the attacker to hide its true identity. He may try to, spoof or something like the spoofing is there, but other than spoofing, if he just wants to randomly hide his identity, he'll use the proxy. So it will hide its true identity by filtering through another computer. Also can be used for other purpose such as content blocking evasion. So let's say if you have any particularly site that is not running on in your country, so at that time also you can use proxy, which will connect to the VPN server of any other country, and then through that country it will. So let's say in XYZ country Google is blocked. Okay, so what it will do, it will probably go through the VPN of through VPN tunnel of some US or India or maybe, and it will then connect to the Google server. So because of which it will make use of those what we can say yeah, use of this proxy to probably get through the end service, or end application. So whenever there is content blocking, you can evade it through the proxies. And also as a part of attacker, it will help you to hide its identity by going through some another computer. So let's say if if you have this system and you want to perform some activity, and you don't want to reveal your identity, so it will go through some other server, and then through that other server it will what we can say, pretend that it is the whole source, and then perform what are the activities he wants to perform. So there is a concept called proxy chains as well, that we will see. So proxy chains is chaining multiple proxies together. So this is also called as proxy jumping or proxy bouncing. So it will uh, basically keep changing the proxy servers. and it will have multiple proxies as well. So first it may connect, to one proxy server, then it will connect it to some other proxy server, then some other, and then reach the target host. So because of this, getting the source becomes impossible for the recipient to catch. Because basically how does it work is, basically it will, now I am here, in India. It will connect to a proxy of, so I am from Pune, so it will connect to proxy of some other state, maybe through, through Gujarat, and then UP, MP, and everything. Then it will move to other countries like maybe Canada, then Singapore, then China, then Taiwan, then US, and then it will somehow reach the target. So basically, because of this proxy chaining, it becomes difficult to find the main source. So when you're performing some kind of sophisticated attack or something like that, at that time proxy chaining is helpful. Tor is one of the prime example of how you can, I mean, what you can basically to check how this happens and how this works, as well as it is very easy to, what we can say, easy to access. So you can just download the Tor browser. So it is a basically browser, and you can just, if you are interested in, hiding your information, it will open this Tor. You can also keep it always connected. You can configure the settings. So yeah, it gives you a lot of information to hide your, see, choose one of the more built-in bridges. So you can see it has the uh, different kind of options for, uh, what kind of connection that you want to maintain. So there is obfuscated for, which makes your Tor traffic look like random data, may not work in heavily censored regions. So if you are having some, let's say for example, China, it won't work over there. Uh, Routes your connection through Snowflake proxies to make it look like you're placing a video call, for example. So basically, it will route to their own Snowflake proxies, and it will, you know, help you to again hide your identity. And make Azure is like your makes it look like you're connected to Microsoft website instead of using Tor. It is usually very slow, so it will, I mean, whatever your activities are performing, however, it will, show as you're connected to a Microsoft website instead of using Tor. So let's say if you're doing some hacking or something like that, or you're visiting any site and you want to hide that, then at that time, what it will do, it will, your IP will be mapped to a Microsoft website at the backend. So it may appear that, in the records it will show that you're connected to a Microsoft website instead of you're using Tor. So such kind of things you can do. Then also, if you want to manually put some proxies or something like that, so you can mention that as well. But usually that is all not needed. You can just do your network testing, connect it and everything, and see, Tor browser routes your traffic over the network run by thousands of volunteers around the world. So you will be connected to the internet or their network, where you will go through the multiple servers. So thousands of servers you will be, connected over the internet too. So whatever the, things that we search over here, it will be through your hidden IP. So see over here. Now it is connected to a German server, because of which we are getting this, this type of language. So probably for that you may need to go over here and change the language. So so if you want to, again, instead of using proxies, and this works as a uh, proxy bouncing, it will jump to multiple proxies and then help you to probably, hide your identity in a sophisticated manner. So whenever you're performing some high level, what we can say, some high level attack or something, or or you want to see the content that is blocked into your region, this is one of the better methods. Obviously, one thing you have to remember is the proxy, or such proxy jumping, your speed will be very slow. The reason is, in ideal situation, you are connecting from your host after some multiple hops to directly to the end server. Over here, you are connecting to multiple servers. So you will probably visit thousands of hops. So over here, you may have some 5 to 6 hops, but over there, you will have thousands of hops. This will basically slow down your speed. So this thing you will always need to remember whenever you are using proxy. Anonymizer is again the similar thing. No difference is that just hides the identity on HTTP traffic. So whenever you're using HTTP traffic, it will help you to identify. Banner grabbing is again same thing that we saw in the Nmap. It will help you to what we can say, collect information about the OS or the specific server information such as web server, mail server, etc. So there are two types of banner grabbing. It will first is sending specially crafted packets and comparing responses to determine the OS that we did for the Nmap. Passive is something which will be reading error messages, sniffing traffic, and looking at page extension. So uh, whenever you're trying to perform any scanning and it is in a passive way, so you will not directly send some traffic or something like that uh, for the what we can say, uh, for any specific responses. It will We will try to read the error messages, or sniffing that network. Sniffing in the sense, this is also part of letter module where we will probably listen the traffic being in the man in the middle kind of thing, or otherwise you will look at the page extensions. So easy way to banner grab is connect via telnet on port. So example, port 80 on web server. So if it receives any error message, you will understand that particular port is not running. So for this, Netcat tool is present. So Netcat tool is basically but something which provides remote or the what we can say, RDP kind of thing, or it will completely provide remote shell on the target. So it connects via NC hyphen E, your IP address and the port. Okay. So again, coming to proxy chaining. So those are, as we saw, these are open source tool. Tor is there. Then there are also some tools that are available on the Kali Linux. So it redirects the TCP connection with the help of proxies like Tor, HTTP, HTTPS, SOCKS, and it creates a proxy chain. So these are the protocols that it will use, and through those protocols it will help to connect to the end system. So it will send it to proxy server 1, then proxy server 2, proxy server 3, and then the web server. So that is how it will do the connection. So this proxy chain, it supports SOCKS 5, SOCKS 4, and HTTP, HTTPS connect proxy servers. So these are the types of this SOCKS 5, SOCKS 4. These are the types of proxy servers, and the proxy chain supports this kind of servers and proxy servers, and it will connect through them. So it supports any kind of chaining option methods like random, which takes a random proxy in the list stored in the configuration file, or chaining proxy in the exact order list. Different proxies are separated by a line in the file. So basically, these are all maintained in a file. These are not just random ones. So these are all the servers, that are present over there. So these are all mentioned in the configuration file. So either it will directly, it will connect through one by one, that is mentioned as it is mentioned in the configuration file, or it will randomly take any one of the IP and it will try to connect it. That you can probably, when you're connecting, you can um, mention the way that you want to connect, with the method that you want to connect. So there is also a dynamic option that lets the proxy change go through live only proxies. It will exclude the dead or unreachable proxies. And this is also often called a smart option. Basically, this is what usually we do, where we use the dynamic option where the proxy chaining will connect directly on its own. Just give me a minute. Sorry. So this is the one that we usually use, where it will connects on its own and check which are the reachable proxies. So what do you mean by dead proxies? So dead proxies are the ones. So let's say mm, after a few months or so, a proxy that was highly being used gets identified by some ISPs or something like that, or different organizations. So what they'll do is they'll identify this proxy and they will uh, bring down that proxy. So when these proxies are bought down or something by any organization or any what we could say, a cyber chain or something like that, at that time uh, this server becomes inactive and it will not be then present in the as a part of your proxy server. So whenever a lot of illegal traffic that is seen going through any proxy server, or content that you can see that is ideally blocked onto our in your region specific, but it is still being uh, accessed or something like that, those proxies are then brought down. Uh, so they can also be used as servers like Squid, SendMail, etc. So basically proxy server, so mail servers kind of also can be used for that. They're capable of resolving the DNS through any proxies, and they can also handle TCP client applications like Nmap, Telnet, etc. The tools, we already saw one of the tool. So proxy switcher, proxy workbench, CyberGhost are all the other tools. You may, if you want to explore, you may, go through them and check those. Okay, so next part is our enumeration. Enumeration is, something that goes in hand to hand with the scanning. So in this phase of enumeration, an attacker initiates active connections with the target system. With this active connection, direct queries are generated to gain more information, and which helps you to identify the system attack points. Once the attacker discovers attack points, it can gain unauthorized access using collected information to reach assets. So similar to what scanning does, so scanning will perform the what we can say, connecting of different packets, or based on the packets or based on the scanning, it will just try to gain more and more information. Okay. Enumeration will also be the part of same thing. It will it will initiate a connection with the target and then try to gain information. So basically this is also part of information gathering. uh, so that is why I said, this is what goes hand to hand, and this can be termed into one same phase of scanning as well as the enumeration. Information that is enumerated in these phrases are routing information, SNMP information, DNS information, machine name, what is the user group, user information, what are the group informations, again, application banner that we already saw, but over here also there are some methods through which that is done. Then there is network sharing information and network resources. What in the previous phases that we saw regarding scanning, those were not concerned with legal issues, but the tools that are required for enumeration may cross legal boundaries and chances of getting or being traced as an active connections with the target. So there are chances that the as an attacker you may get caught while doing this kind of enumeration. So either you should be kind of aware when you're performing such kind of collecting information that you don't get caught, or you have that much of protection for you as an attacker, obviously. But if you are doing this as a part of red teaming activity, which you are doing as a what we can say, um, uh, as a part of pen tester or something like that, make sure that you have the proper permissions to perform these actions. So what are the techniques for enumeration? So basically, there are different types of enumeration that can be done. First is using email ID. So extraction on information using email ID can provide information like username, domain name, etc. In email ID contains username and domain in it. So when you're sending out the emails. So let's say you have identified your target of an organization. Uh, Maybe let's say our organization, Tata Communications. So, and I want to check who are the email IDs that are present in them. So I'll maybe try to uh, send out the what we can say. I'll make use of uh, you know whatever the directives that are available either, or I will use different kinds of now usually as an official email. How it happens is if you have some unique name and there is no name other than you that is present over there. For example, Ninad Mishra is my name, and there is no one with the same name in that organization. In that case, what it will happen is I'll be having initial name dot surname at the rate domain name. So if if that is there in the as a part of guesswork, if able to identify it and I'm able to send the mail, this will help me to provide the or it will help me to get the information about the target email addresses. So this way it can be done for others as well. So uh, the email ID is one of the method of collecting the information. Again, this is active, so uh, chances of getting caught is high. So but this is one of the method for this. Then another way of enumeration is using default password. So every device and software has its own default credentials and settings. This default credentials are recommended to be changed. Some administrator keep using default password and setting, which becomes easier for the attacker to gain unauthorized access using default credentials. So whenever a device is present on the uh, uh, on your in your organization. So let's say if you're having load balancer or any Palo Alto firewall. Now every device will have its own default credential whenever they are brought up or configured. Now it is always recommended that you do not keep your default passwords. Some organizations won't think it as a big deal. They'll just keep the default username and password as it is, and they'll make another admin access, and they'll perform all their activities based on that. But as an attacker, if I am able to get that access, I may try to perform the testing through default credentials. So let's say some of them may have user admin, I mean the username as admin and the password will be admin at rate 123, or the default passwords are there of their own devices. So the reason is that they have the default password is whenever you are implementing the device onto the new system, obviously you need to have some standard login ID for that, and then you can do the configuration and everything. But if you don't have that, then once you install that, it is recommended that you do not have that. You should probably change the password of that, or maybe something like that. Change the username and password and everything. But some users don't do that. They'll just keep whatever the default is there and work on it. So one of this method will probably hamper the organization security. Brute force and active directory. So brute force, anyone has heard about this term brute force previously? Okay, so brute force is basically an attacker who will try to perform, multiple authentication methods to get through the account. So let's say if I've received any information about any what we can say user ID. So what it will do, it will have different methods. So it will try to probably run a dictionary attack. So we'll see about this in the coming lectures how the brute force works. So basically trying to log in using multiple methods and getting through the system. So you must have heard about Active Directory. Active Directory is something that provides a centralized command and control of domain users, computers, and network printers. So it also, restricts the access to the network resources only to defend. So basically, it works as IAM, or it provides information to the what we can say to the users and computers. So uh, usually this is something is a big target for the attacker, since it provides uh, uh, great source of sensitive information. So these attackers will try to perform brute force attack on these this kind of AD servers, and they'll try to gather the information such as username, address, credential, privilege information, etc. So they may try to get into the AD and get all this information. Then enumeration through zone transfer. So this zone transfer process includes extract information like locating DNS servers, DNS records, other information like host name, IP address, username, etc. And it is a process to update DNS server. So the zone file carries valuable information that can be retrieved by the attacker. So, whatever the scanning that we did over there to check if the DNS port is open or not, basically, this can be exploited by the attacker to get into the DNS server and then retrieve all the information, because DNS is the one who contains the information where it will be so you must be knowing what is the work of the DNS. It will resolve your uh, you know IP addresses to host name, or basically connected to your web host or something like that. So it will convert that IP addresses to your URLs. So your the attacker will try to get into this DNS, and it will try to extract the information. So I don't know, like you have gone through this SNMP. So SNMP is, it is ideally also used to what we can say as a part of some tools where it will gather information, or to keep as a track of the health of the of the devices, or monitor the devices. So for example, there are tools like solar wind tools, and what is the other name? Anyway, so I don't remember the exact name of those tool. So there are tools which which are there to monitor the health of your system. So if your system goes down, or if you what we can say, if there is some port that is down or something like that. So for that, uh, these tools will collect this information, and that information is collected through your SNMP protocol. So SNMP protocol will maintain this, do the monitoring of this tool, and check if there is some health issues of that device. So let's say there are LLB firewalls, there is web servers, there are main servers, DNS servers, there are other kind of devices that are present over there, and one of the devices port go down, or there is higher consumption, CPU utilization consumption, there is memory consumption, any kind of thing happens. At that time, this tool will alert you, or they'll inform you that there is some issue that is happening with the device, so kindly check. Now the attacker will make use of this available protocol, and it will try to collect information about the devices or in the user accounts that are present on that. So SNMP is something which is actually made for the use of collecting the information, but is also somewhat a pathway for an attacker to get into the system, because basically it will contain all the information of the device, because that is what it is supposed to do. But sometimes on some systems it should not be open if you're not having some any monitoring tool present over there. Otherwise, if once an attacker gets into the system, it will probably have this SNMP that is present over there, and it will try to get into the system. Now uh, this SNMP service comes with two password, which are used to configure to access the SNMP agent from the management station. Now management station, what I'm saying is the devices that are used for running the or the monitoring the devices. So there is read community string and there is read write communication string. This string, which is their password. So read community password and read write passwords. So these passwords come with a default value which is same for all the users, for the all the systems, and this can become an easy entry point for the attacker if left unchanged by the administrator. So as I said, this information is actually easily available, and attackers can use to extract information about resources such as host, routers, devices, etc. And they also contain information such as ARP tables, routing tables, then device specific information and network statistics. Okay. So additional information about this is always remember, if maybe it may be asked in your interviews, what is the port that is there for the SNMP. So it is 161 UDP, and there is one database which is a database file that contains all this information, that is called as MIB, that is management information base. This will contain the information of all your I mean the database, it is maintained in a database that stores the information. Then there is object identifiers, which are the identifier information stored in the MIB. Then there are two commands, which is SNMP get and SNMP set. So this will the get will get the information about the system, and set will set the information about the system. Then there are other types of objects. These are all the additional information which considerably we are not concerned with. So scalar, that is single object, tabular with multiple information and multiple objects that are related to. SNMP uses community string which function as password. So whenever you are configuring, it will have the community strings, which is basically your password. So they are just have their name, which is your community string, but ideally they are just password. Now, one thing you have to remember is whenever this is something which is used as a service. Okay. Now in most of the organizations, obviously it is required to monitor the health of the devices. So if there is one application servers whose what we can say consumption suddenly becomes high, so at that time, and if it goes down, then who will monitor it, or who probably it will hamper your reputation, it will hamper the services for the customers and other things. So to make sure that this does not happen, it is very important that the organizations do have this monitoring tools, health monitoring tools, and this is done using the SNMP. The now let's say if you have your firewall placed or your WAF that is placed. Now to monitor that, you have to enable the SNMP on that tool. Once you enable that SNMP, it will send all the details of that device to the monitoring tool. Now that monitoring tool will monitor those all the changes, but this is something that is required. Now how to avoid this being exploited is basically you need to use the higher version or the latest version, which is SNMP v3. If you are using something that is previous to that, which is v1 or v2, the all these readings and the settings, it will be sent in the clear text and it won't be in the encrypted format. So unless and until that you want it to be exploited and something like that, but otherwise you should compulsory use it as v3. There is no chance that you should use as a v2 or v1, because now as a security person or security prospect, nothing data that is transmitted within the network should be in a clear text. So for that reason, it is very important to have it in V3. Okay, I think yeah, these are the tools that are present, that is SNMP check. So this devices comes with pre-installed Kali Linux machine. So obviously we don't have that SNMP because we just have these systems, but just to make you understand that SNMP check supports a huge type of enumeration. So they will check for the contact and user accounts, devices, domain, hardware, and storage information, IIS statistics, then listening UDP ports, TCP ports, a banner, that is again your OS routing information and network interfaces. So all this is present as a part of SNMP check. Okay. I guess there is some uh, tool for that SNMP. Let's go through it once if that is present and we're able to perform that. It is still running. I don't know why. It is there, but I don't think it will be much of a use for us. Uh, okay. Uh, you need to specify an IP. Okay. So it is not present. So on the target machine, that is my host, it is not present. So default one is, as as you can see, the default one is always public, so which should be changed obviously uh, in one of my organizations. So that was where this SNMP was not correctly configured. So I was working on a project, and the default user account that they kept was public, and they were using SNMP v2. So till now nothing has happened, but obviously it is always vulnerable for them. Fine. So whenever you're doing as a pen tester, you need to make sure that this is checked, and you can check it using SNMP vcheck. Okay. Then coming to NetBIOS. So NetBIOS is a network input output system program that allows communication in between different applications running on different system within a LAN. So whenever you want to uh, uh, check what kind of identify what kind of services that are running, what devices are using TCP IP, or what kind of um, what we can say, you need to identify the services. Then what services are running on what port, then night bias enumeration will be helpful for you. So it uses a unique 16 ASCII character string in order to identify the network devices over TCP IP. The initial 15 characters are for identifying the device. 16th character is to identify the service. Okay. And NetBT uses the following TCP and UDP ports. UDP port 137 for name services, UDP 138 for datagram services, and TCP 139 for service session services. So using NetBIOS information, an attacker can discover list of machines within a domain, then file sharing, printer sharing, username, group information, password, and policies. So whenever if you are into the network and you're doing this NetBIOS enumeration, you will get all kind of details. So these tools and this tool will basically use a 16 ASCII character, and it will do the what we can say, uh, uh, I mean, it will basically check the net BIOS to communication that is running, and it will uh, try to gather this kind of information. Okay, then coming to SMTP enumeration. So you must be aware about an SMTP. So it is simple mail transfer protocol used for transferring mail and receiving and sending mail on port 25. And this is now something which is now also made secure, and secure mail transfer protocol is used, and that is used on the port 587, but there are still some applications which are run on the port 25. So you can gather the information, so through this SMTP as well. So the following are the commands, the listed ones are the commands that will be helpful for the enumeration, that is gathering the information. Based on these responses, you can understand what kind of results it is giving and what kind of commands it is giving. So we'll run through this, and it will help you to understand what exactly it does. So if we are kind of sending the argument as hello, then it will identify the name of the server. Then explanation is to verify the mailbox on the local host. Mail from will identify the sender. Recipient, obviously it will identify the recipient. If you want to check the size, then it will check the size of the mail that it maximum supports. So there is some size limit to every mail, and if you want to so let's say if you want to as an attacker, you want to deliver some payload or some file that is a phishing file or something like that, and he doesn't want that attack to fail because of the size. So for that reason, he needs to identify what is the size limit that is set on the mail server. So he will then try to gather that information. Data will specify what kind of data it supports. Reset will reset the connection. Verify will help to verify the ability of the mail server. Help will obviously show, and quit will terminate the session. Now all this is when you are connecting to your mail server. Now we don't have a mail server, but just for the sake of it, we'll try to run the command and see what results we get. But again, as I said, uh, we don't have the mail server. Otherwise, this information is usually helpful to gather it. So SMT. Huh. So there is one username. Target TCP port is 25. Query time was 57, and worker process was verified. So it is verified that there should we use the verify mode, and this is the result that we got. Now again, as I said, this is not a mail server that we are checking on. This is our simple host. But if you are looking for any mail server, then if you have any mail server, this will help you to gather other information as well. Fine. I'll just show you one tool which we did not see. That was Angry IP scanning tool. IP scan. Okay. Let me share my screen just a minute. Okay. So as I said, right, you can provide the range. This is my host name, and this is your net mask. You can mention the range as well, but I'll just run as it is, and it will show me what are the systems in the network that are there, are connected to my Wi-Fi currently. So this one system that I got, that is there. Others, nothing is running. Obviously, again, this information will be helpful once you are running the on a open network. So there are two live hosts with two open ports. Which one is? So whenever you're in your organization, or as a even if you're sitting in a public network, you can just perform that, and you will see what kind of ports are open on what kind of services, or what kind of IP addresses. Okay. Fine. I guess uh, we can conclude it for today. Do you have any questions?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, about that Nmap, where, sir, we can get the spoofed IP address of ours.
Spoof IP address is something that you can give on your own. You don't need to get it from anywhere. So as I was showing, I checked the IP address of my current system. It was something 130, right? To 74.130. So I can just mention it as 131. It's nothing like you need to get it from anywhere. You can if you're in a network, and that network supports that range, and it has allowed that range, you can see if your IP address sits in that range, and you can just mention that spoof IP address on your own.
Okay, sir.
Okay, anyone else? I'll request you guys to go through the tools that we see, and that we see in the lecture, because it is very important that you have your own hands on. I'll also start giving you some exercises, for doing it over the weekdays till our next lecture. But by that time, you also go through them, install Kali Linux if you haven't. Have another OS of Windows, if you find any old Windows, or Windows Server 2012, install it, and make it as your own lab test and perform all these exercises.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can you please provide this PPT for the reference?
Sure, but if you guys can provide me your email IDs, I can send it over. Uh, Otherwise, how do you want me to send it?
Sir, I will send you the email on the in the chat.
Okay, fine, I'll send it. I've received 3 email IDs for now. Fine, I'll send it on those, uh, and you can go through them. Fine. I think we can conclude.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.